All right, so Paul writes in, why does his advisor keep so much money in cash? Paul says he's with a firm that has about $20,000 in a bank account in LA. Monkeypox. And Paul lives in Florida. He says, I know I'm not getting interest on that, so why is he keeping so much in there? And I don't know how much Paul's account is worth, but if he's got $20,000 in cash, usually they keep about 2%. So if you take $20,000, it's got to be a $400,000 account. So we take 20,000 divided by 0.2. No, he's got about $1,000,000. Monkeypox. We can't say monkeypox anymore. For fees, Paul. There's no other way around. That's what these guys do. They keep them. They don't want to sell something that could be subject to. Hold on a second. These dogs got to make up their minds. All right, they don't want to sell something that could go up or down in value. Right? They want to be able to access the fees quickly. That's the only reason they do it. There's no other way around that, man. It's just fees, and it will always be a drain on your account. If the market goes down, you'll be glad they have a little bit of money in there, but you won't. It's not enough to notice it. But so they'll always say, "Well, we want to be able to deploy that money quickly." No, it's for the fees. They don't want to buy and sell that draw attention to the fees coming out. I remember when I was at USA, we did the same thing. Schwab just got dinged for doing 7 to 10% in fees in cash. And I didn't have any problem with that. I always said, well, Schwab should do it if cash. I'm sure. You're shaved too. If cash is an asset allocation tool, which it is, having cash in a managed account should be fine. But Schwab got dinged for it. I guess they weren't marketing it as a allocation tool. Anyway, that's why he does it, just to have fees in there. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see what other kind of questions we have. So Chris writes in, what's my opinion on 72T, the separate equal periodic payment things? I've never been a fan of 72Ts. I just have never been a fan. I know some people use them okay. It always seems like a pain in the butt to me to kind of calculate how much you got to do it. And you don't get that much relative. So for 72T is you have access to your IRA money if you do it in equal increments each and every year until you are 59 and a half or for 5 years, whichever is longer. So if you're 57 years old, you can do 72T, but you have to do it for 5 years till you're 62. If you're 50 years old, you can do 72T, but you have to do it until you're 59 and a half. If you miss a payment, the whole thing is subject to taxes and then penalties from not just the payment you missed, but from the very beginning. I don't like the handcuffs that says I have to do this for a certain amount of time or else I get penalized in taxes for missing a payment. I just don't like it. And you just don't get that much relative to what you think. I can't remember exactly what, I just can't off the top of my head. I can't remember the calculation, but I was like, oh, that's it. It wasn't that much. With that said, it's a great alternative if you're willing to make sure that you do it and stay disciplined to follow the model and figure out how you do it. I mean, in terms of how much can you take out, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any. I mean, I'm sure there are calculators out there, but are those the ones the IRS uses? I don't know. Is there an IRS.gov calculator for calculating a 72T? I don't think so. Does Schwab have his own 72T calculator? I just don't know. And that's the thing that's always concerned me is when you're doing 72Ts, that's just another red flag to get audited. And I just like, I don't want to get audited. So for me, it's just not worth it. But it is an option. 100% is an option. So something to think about. My man Ron just sent me this from the Star Tribune, and I'm not a big fan of the Minnesota or Minneapolis Star Tribune, big libs. But anyway, it's a pretty good article. It says, do retirement warnings go too far? He spends the first half of the article saying what most people think they need. They need 1.1 million, they say, blah, blah, blah. He says, but very few people are going to get that 1.1 million. I mean, there's not that many millionaires in the United States. So if we all need 1.1 million, then we're all inherently doomed. Then he talks about inflation, all the negatives, we get that. All right. He does talk about there's a serious retirement crisis and it's concentrated among older adults who earn low and unstable wages during their careers. They typically work for employers who didn't offer a retirement savings plan or health insurance at work. Okay, maybe, but that's more to do with the fact that Social Security, they didn't pay into Social Security if it's an unstable career. So, I mean, that might be, but that's not neither you nor me, that's for sure. It sucks. I mean, but there's always going to be poor people. Seems like that goes back to the Bible, does it not? Yes, I think it does. I think Jesus even said, so Mark, remember the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All right. Mark is the Matthew, Mark, Luke. All right. So it's the second of the Gospels. And in 14:7, Jesus says, the poor will always be with you, or the poor you will always have with you, and you can help them anytime you want. This is an NIV, but you will not always have me. That's what I'm saying. Here's a KJV. For ye have the poor with you always, and so whenever you will, you may help them, you may do them good. But me, ye not always have, always, or something like that. I'm butchering that. But anyway, so let's just keep going back. So, I mean, that said, even Jesus said there's always going to be poor people. I mean, that doesn't mean you discount them, you kick them in the head. Do what you can with your God wealth that God has provided to you. You are the spark. You are a steward of God's resources. That's what He is giving it to you for. To steward, to be a good steward. So that way, when you arrive to heaven, you will hear the wonderful words, well done, good and faithful servant. All right, but anyway, so we got my man Meyer Statman. I've been following this guy for a long time. It's interesting to see him back see him quoted again, because I don't get the Journal for Financial Planning anymore, because the Financial Planning Association went woke with their CRT crap, the racist crap from a couple of years ago, and I said, nope, no more. But anyway, he says right here, all right, spending typically falls in retirement. Adjusted at the age of 84, adjusted for inflation, is 23% than it was at age 62 among college-educated Americans. Did you hear that? At age 84, adjusted for inflation, college-educated American couples spend 23% less than they did at 62. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. This linear 4% rule. And look, I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying it drives me crazy. Is there any evidence at all that we spend that much amount of money year over year? No. The evidence is the exact opposite. Anyway, at the same time, experienced workers are experimenting with different ways to continue to earn money during retirement, including self-employment and part-time work. Get a YouTube channel, for instance. Kim out there in California is going to bake some cookies, oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Sadly, she wants to put raisins in them and send them to me. I said, no, don't want raisins in my oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Keep those. Give those to the liberals. She wants to put walnuts in them. So no, don't want those. Give them to the commies. Well, I'm American. America, we want chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. Nothing else added to it. Just chocolate chip and oatmeal with a little bit of molasses on there. Now that, my friend, you can take to the bank. If you want to be an American, no oatmeal, no raisins, and no walnuts. Oh man, that's good eating. All right. Yeah, perhaps the most important, we often forget how creative people are at coming up with solutions. Retirement is no different. I completely agree. We are a resilient group of people, human beings, my friends. Americans are resilient too. Yeah, we got it good, but that doesn't mean we've lost our resilience. When it comes time to push comes to shove, you're going to be just fine. All right. Thanks again. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the doogly-doo. See ya.